I was like a second too late.
Hello, Las Vegas.
Story of my life.
You get it next time.
Day 3.
Day 3.
Wow.
Day 3 in the Big Brother house. Hello. Did we have fun last night? Who was in bed past 3 a.m.? Oh yeah. You're looking great. Oh,
Can I call you out on that?
You can. That's why I asked it. But I'm feeling sprightly today.
I think you thought more people were going to join you in that.
I was hoping you would, but I did remember you going to bed.
I did.
But it was a fun night.
Before 3.
Money lost. Osric lost me some money last night. That's a funny story. He was watching me play this poker game. And, Osric's a very smart dude, so I was playing, and I was doing okay, and I had to go to the bathroom. I said, sit down and play a hand for me. Not a great idea. He was, as I was walking back to the table, all I hear was like, ah, shit! And I was like, ah, shit! Yeah,
Would he validate that story?
Yeah.
What's it? Yeah.
I don't know.
It checks out.
Vaguely, yeah, I hope so. It happened. But, it was a fun night. It was a good night. Vegas is a strange place.
Very strange.
I know you don't like it because from your architectural perspective.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but my degree's in architecture. So Vegas kind of hurts my feelings when I come here. It's a lot of decorated sheds and then empty lots and then just like gross abundance. And there's a purpose for it. I understand why it works and why, like, it's just a magical adult playground. But I'm more of a Rome and Paris guy, personally.
Yeah.
Just aesthetically.
But you can't compare.
Not
You
pissing
can't
on this
compare
town.
anywhere in America to Rome and Paris, really, I don't think.
There's parts of New York. No?
Chicago?
Hello. All hail.
All hail.
Wait, what about New Orleans?
Yeah, but you can't compare them architecturally to fucking Paris and Rome.
It's nothing that old.
There's parts of DC.
Well, yeah, just
DC.
we're talking.
If you go to the Capitol building in DC, that's fascinating. It's beautiful in the inside. I don't know. I think Vegas is awesome. I love it.
I think it's pretty impressive.
No, it's totally impressive. I was just saying, aesthetically, sometimes it hurts my feelings.
Yeah.
Let's take questions, as opposed to get into the weeds on architectural nerdism.
What's up, Rory? Killed it last night.
Can we give it up firstly for our signers? Like, well done. That's great.
Yes.
What a great
Brilliant, as always.
Thanks, guys.
Anyone out there? All the love?
All of it.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
So my question is, what is your guilty pleasure?
My guilty pleasure is Don't You Know You're Beautiful by One Direction. I will dance around my house in my underwear singing that song.
Thanks for that.
Oh.
I can quote every line from Pretty Woman.
What was this year?
Yeah, that's me. That's me playing my Dave Hayden Jones drum.
Is that what it is?
On myself.
Gil?
God, probably just anything true crime. It's become an unhealthy obsession. I need to stop. But I can't.
All the Netflix documentaries?
All the stuff, man. All of it. All the Datelines, all the Forensic Files, all the Netflix.
I've got one for you. You gotta watch the Unabomber 4-part series on Netflix that just came out.
It's
right?
a documentary?
It's a little 4-part documentary.
All right.
On the Unabomber.
Good stuff.
It's crazy.
I'm just getting into the podcast now.
Oh, I love it.
Mind Junkie? Crime Junkie.
Crime Junkie.
Mind Monkey?
That's a different one.
I was just listening to one about that guy who robbed banks in Southern California. Can't remember what the name of it is. Fascinating though. Like this guy that tells you all the story of like why he became a bank robber, but it goes back into his whole psychological history of abuse with his dad and all this stuff, like how he became the guy that he became and his road to redemption. So very much in the wheelhouse of this show, you know, people who do bad stuff and then try to redeem themselves. I wouldn't know anything about that at all.
Yep, neither would I.
With my character. Great question, thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Hey.
So I was wondering that if none of your guys' characters died, what would you have liked them to go on to do?
Win. I think Mick's path was obvious. He was distancing himself from the British Men of Letters and kind of siding with the Winchesters. So I think he would have been like a bit of a third wheel, a short third wheel. But I think that's what I would love him to do. Like, because then you would be in more episodes.
There's that.
Tell me about it. I mean, Henry he'd want to find John, right? He'd want to find John and mend that fence and fix his family. I think that would have been his main goal, but I don't know that that's going to happen.
I think Ketch was on his way to sort of becoming a honorary hunter along with Dean. I would have loved to see more of that sort of, odd couple, old married couple dynamic between them again, like we had in the AU. I also want to see a Ketch makeover where he gets honorary flannel and a black T-shirt. Would that just be a fun episode in the bunker where Dean's like, Ketch, come on, try this on. No more suits. We're going hunting. Sammy! Let's get Ketch in some flannel. And then he's just like Pretty Woman soundtrack kind of plays. A little montage.
Bit of Roy Orbison going on in the
Eating
background.
some bacon, going out hunting, Yeah, good times. Thanks for that question, great one. Cheers. Hi.
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 By the way, I love y'all.
Oh,
You back?
Likewise.
Yeah. So if this question is too personal, you don't have to answer it, but I cannot find it anywhere on the internet. So
That means it's already too personal.
Yes.
how personal?
The internet won't tell me what your wanker size is. What?
I'm gonna give y'all an out though too if you want to answer the other part of this question.
Okay, I'm excited.
Wow. I love the tee up on this. It's so exciting.
So do y'all have any girlfriends or pets back at home? Like, do y'all have a dog or cat, or that's my secondary question. So if you don't want to answer the girlfriends,
I love the plural. What is this, The Bachelor?
I mean, y'all are both.
Come over here, let's get a look at you. I want to
I'm
joke.
more of Adam and David. Gil, I already know that you're married, but for the other two.
Do you want me to take this with me? I have a fiance called Cricket and I have a fiance called Haley and a cat called Cricket. I knew there was
Wow. I'm glad you got that straight.
Yeah, don't get those two mixed up, all right?
I want to come to that ceremony.
I feel sorry for Cricket.
I think we need to legitimize feline-human marriage.
big time.
We need to normalize that. There's a woman in France who married a plane. Do you know that?
No.
And then there's another woman in Australia who married a fence.
Oh.
She has a picket fence
Does she ride
kink.
it?
Yeah, and you can look that up on the internet, I'll tell you. But I'll tell you, be careful. You were warned. There's some rabbit holes you should not go down. And they all lie.
What would you marry? If you were to marry an inanimate object, what would it be?
That's a great question. Thank you for another great question. If I was going to marry an inanimate object,
What would you marry? A deer? No, that's a mirror.
Oh, gross.
That's a good one.
No,
I like that. David Hayden Jones would definitely marry a mirror.
I avoid mirrors. Oh, please.
You'd have to clean it off a
It would have to be a
lot.
pretty fucking big mirror. Now it's a panel.
Yeah. Well, listen, someone told me in my meet and greet yesterday, again, my fascination with AO3 and the culture therein. Apparently there's a Ketch X Gabe Gabriel fic.
It's Gabe Gabriel.
That blew my mind. I do not want to see making love to me. I just never want to. Well, that's why I get rid of the mirrors.
Oh fuck! Now I was yesterday because I was in the panel. I was like, "Who the fuck is Gabe Gabriel?" And I was afraid to ask in case I didn't know the canon. But it's State Farm. Now I get it.
State Farm.
I was like, "Oh yeah, Jesus, yeah." I was like, "Who the fuck is Gabe
Some
Gabriel?"
weird stuff. And
That would be
to-
interesting.
To answer your question, I have 3 cats and 7 girlfriends, and they are all crate trained. So that's I call it my dungeon, but you know.
No, but seriously, getting back to the inanimate object thing, what would you marry?
Yeah, no, it's a good question.
Oh, you would marry. Get the fuck out.
You said, the car. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine. Get out.
The Spaceballs.
How about a warm apple pie? What?
Yes.
You can eat it?
You just keep reheating it?
I know, but hold on one second. So you marry it, and then you eat it.
Yeah.
But you have it for like a week? But
Yeah.
what happens when you eat it all?
But you can get married multiple times.
Or you
This
shellac-
isn't like Ireland.
Oh, yeah. When you eat the pie, does that nullify the marriage? So you're actually technically
That's what she
single
said?
again? Because that's a good
I mean, yeah, it could work that way. Or maybe you don't eat the pie and you just have sex with it.
But I mean, how good is that sex? It only lasts like...
It's pretty awesome.
It's only solid for like a week. And then the mold creeps in.
No, you gotta hit
What
that early.
do you shellac it like a museum? No, these are important questions, folks. We're going down a philosophical rabbit hole that tells us a lot about who we are.
I suppose basically
Yes, it does.
a taxidermied animal is an inanimate object at this point, right?
It's not,
yeah.
or just no? You just...
I'll get my coat.
Because that was too much. I know how filthy y'all are. Don't try to do the purity test now.
What kind of taxidermied animal?
Hey, this is a great haul. I'm gonna go.
That's
what I would say.
Yeah. No, I like this. I like where you're going.
No, someone got it.
Well, I'm gonna go with my bed. My bed.
Bear. A bear.
Bear.
Okay, yeah. Ooh, that's aggressive. You've done that. Like a parrot would be cool.
What? Super Troopers?
Parrots?
Hey. I approve of the chupacabra. Yeah.
A bear would be good though, because he could like, keep you warm. You notice I said he? Or a goose.
A moose.
A moose.
Yeah, moose.
I've been there. Anyway, okay, next question.
Okay, sorry. Thank you. You don't know what you spawned. That was wild. Good thing that none of that's going to be on the internet. I love a safe space.
Thank God.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi.
My question is, what are your guys' go-to karaoke songs?
Were you not here last night?
I was. That's why I'm asking.
Faith, for me. Faith by George Michael.
At This Moment by Billy Vera and the Beaters.
Like, I can't compete. Probably. I did U2 in France. I sang With or Without You.
What?
With or Without You?
Oh.
With or Without You. With or Without You.
That's good. Yeah.
By U2.
Heard it? Yeah.
Small little band.
Yeah. Smaller.
But you know what? Like after last night, I don't know, is Lewis here?
Yeah, he's over
here
there.
somewhere.
Where are you? Frozen 2. He's in a meet me. Oh yeah, so he's not over there. Thanks, Kristen. But like anything from Disney, that was awesome, right? Jesus Christ. And the lady who sang the Little Mermaid song, you know? Oh, it's fucking great. And you killed it, by the way. You killed it. Rory killed it with his rap. What was the name of the song? Fergalicious, yeah, of course. I did change the lyrics in my head a few times and called it Fergusalicious, but it didn't have the same ring to it.
Good question. Thank you. Hi there.
Hi. I was wondering if you guys prefer doing live theater, and if you could be in a show, what would you be in? I know Gil's tried the Broadway thing, and I just wanted to know what you guys think about it. I would love to see you on Broadway, Gil. That's like...
Tried it. Didn't like it. Didn't fit.
I'm sorry.
What's the question?
Why don't you repeat that question?
What?
if you guys could like do a Broadway show, what's your dream show? And
What musical would we fail at is basically what you're saying.
no, I'm
kidding.
You guys would be awesome.
Well, I couldn't do a musical. I once auditioned for Sweeney Todd.
Nice.
I did a lot of theatre growing up, and I did this several times at this theatre in Dublin called the Gate Theatre in Dublin, and the artistic director called me up and he says, listen, I want you to come in for Sweeney Todd, I think you'd be perfect. And I was like, Michael, I can't fucking sing. He said, no, you can. It'll be fine. Everyone can sing. And so when you go into that theatre, and at home, because I was living in London at the time, so I was at home and I was in my parents' house, and my mom was like, "Could you please shut up singing that song? It's awful." That's the encouragement she gave me. And so I go on stage because you audition, and they are like 4 people and there are 10 people at the back of the theatre, and you're like, "Hi guys," and there's a pianist on the stage, Conor Linehan, famous Irish pianist, and he goes, "Hi Adam, how's it going? What key are you going to be singing in?" And I said, "Keep up, Conor, we're probably going to cover them all." And it was the worst audition I've ever done in my life. It was awful. So I never do a musical on Broadway, but I'd love to do a straight play. I did a straight play in the West End in London, the equivalent in the UK, and it was the most enjoyable experience of my life. Like, on stage in front of a couple of thousand people every day, it's riveting stuff, and it's always been a dream of mine. So I'd love to do an Arthur Miller play. I'd love to do View from the Bridge, or Death of a Salesman, or something like that. Something really dark and, meaty. But yeah, straight play.
You? I was actually on a musical theater path when I was in my late teens, early 20s. And it was right around where Miss Saigon came out. Remember Miss Saigon? Okay. Yeah, sorry, I'm not a fan. I was like, this is poop. I was like, this is weird, I don't like it at all. The last musical I really liked was Chess, but that's a long time ago. But then, yeah, Chess is great, the London version. I would have loved to have done a revival of Guys and Dolls. Like the old early 60s, late 50s version, and I would just love to sing Luck Be a Lady. When I was like a teenager, I loved that Sinatra album came out. Remember the Best of Sinatra album that came out? And he does that Luck Be a Lady, that version. Oh, I love it. They call you Lady Luck, pow! But there is room for doubt. At times you have a very unladylike way of running out. Anyways. Yes. Got it. I don't want to monopolize more talented singers.
No,
you're
okay. Yeah, that's beautiful. That was beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Good question.
It's a great question.
No, but
I don't know how to answer this question. Yes, I was in New York for a year. My wife had to go there for work, so I went, and yeah, it's a tough thing to crack into. I mean, you really have to. You got to want that more than anything in the world, and it is a highly competitive environment, and I'm still hopeful that it might happen for me at some point. But yeah, I mean, I love to do. There's not much that I don't like, to be honest with you. SpongeBob SquarePants, probably wouldn't want to do that, or like the Jimmy Buffett Broadway musical. Oh, those are real. Yeah, like I don't know that would be very fulfilling. But something, in like Les Mis, obviously, still just one of my all-time favorites. And yeah, we'll see. I'm not giving up on it, but New York's it's a whole other thing, man.
Well, you really have to be in the game there and really build for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, because I have some Broadway director friends, and they're like, it's legit, you got to be in that community and really paying your dues, because it's a big dues-paying community.
100%.
Right? Yeah,
100%.
Unless you're famous and then they airplane you in.
Sure. Which is kind of the angle that I'm still hoping
you
for.
should go for that. Go for that.
I'm gonna go all the way around.
I think
I'm married. I've got a 3-year-old. I got a son on the way, and raising kids in New York City is no joke. Raising kids anywhere is no joke, but. Yeah, I think the quality of life in Los Angeles as opposed to living in New York City it's
I agree.
It's a very different world.
I'd love to do a show there, like a TV show or something like that. It's always
in New York?
Yeah.
That would be dream come true. So
to move there with work,
and be making money and have somewhere to go every day and feel productive. Because what I found is it's a lot easier to be an out of work actor in Los Angeles than it is in New York City. And the reason is, in LA, you're in Los Angeles, it's beautiful outside. You can go for a hike with your dogs, you can go get a smoothie, you can take a little power nap, make a couple phone calls, shoot some emails. You had a pretty productive day.
Well, that's the thing, you can step off the what I call like the tsunami wave of the sidewalk of New
Yeah.
York.
Oh,
I love New York, but as soon as you come down that walk up and onto the street, you're
let's
like,
go.
okay, I'm surfing humanity today.
Yeah, totally.
Surfing humans. I gotta be.
Some days
Like,
it's like, let's
I know.
go, and then other days you're just like, oh, like, make it stop.
Like Crocodile Dundee in the first one when he goes, G'day. When he's saying hello to everyone as he's walking in the street. G'day.
G'day.
Brilliant.
Great question.
Cheers.
Great.
Thank you, and Gil, I would love to see you in Les Mis.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, right.
By the way, Russell Crowe, I think gets like a bad time about his performance in the movie. I think he did a good job. You know? You think he did a good
I
job?
love Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna touch that. He did a fine job. He's a fantastic actor.
I've only seen it recently, actually.
You what?
I only saw it recently for the first time.
Oh, really?
And I was always like,
Did you like it?
Oh my God, she blew me away. I was always like on the fence, but she just blew me away in that
Yeah.
movie. I thought she was epic.
Yeah, she was fantastic.
And I love Jackman was robbed, in my opinion. I think he was fucking brilliant too. That year.
She's one of those actresses that I'm always like, yeah, and then I see her in something, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Like everything she does.
Really good.
is phenomenal.
I
Yeah.
had to watch The Princess Diaries for the first time. Don't ask me why.
Wow.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
babysitting. No, that's not. I wasn't babysitting my fiance.
Hey.
No, but yeah, she's an awesome actor. What do you say now? I don't know. Hi. No, you can say hi.
Hi.
Oh, great.
So my question is, what was your favorite part about playing your role in Supernatural?
Everything for me. Just the whole world,
Yeah.
the challenge, the set, the culture of set, the challenge of the scripts every time, just the arc. Getting to do 4 seasons on a global hit show is a dream come true. So I'm very grateful. And I'm very grateful, as I always say, and it's not pandering, for all of you and your kindness every time I come here. It's amazing.
Can you isolate one bit though? Can you isolate one thing?
I think it was really fun. I love doing the fights.
Yeah.
I love the physicality of doing like 98% of the fight, doing the stuff they wouldn't let me do. Because I love dance, and so fights are basically on set, basically just a fancy choreographed fight. And then you kind of you get your physicality there, you get your adrenaline up, and when you have like good dance partners like I had, like everyone was amazing to work with. And then the 2 fight coordinators worked with both. Were just such great guys and big cheerleaders. So I really loved that physical part of the job. Like it was exhilarating for me. Yeah.
I mean, I would just have to say, like being in Vancouver and the weather, there's just something about that place that's just magical, and that's why they shoot so many things up there. And I wasn't on the show as long as these 2 guys, but I just have these just wonderful memories of being in Vancouver and the rain's coming down and going to set to work with Jared and Jensen was awesome. And if there's one thing, I so many takeaways from that experience, but one that's really like resonated with me lately is enjoy every second you have when you get those jobs and you're in those places and on those sets working with those people, because it doesn't last forever, right? And I've just coming off like probably one of the hardest like dry spells of my career, and I worked in something a couple months ago, and man, my whole thing changed when I walked on that set. Like I don't take any of it for granted anymore, and I can't wait to get that next one, because it is so fun. But
Yeah, dude.
probably one of the greatest jobs I've ever had.
Well, it's a great metaphor for life too, right? We talk about it, we hear mindfulness, being present, but it's like, these things are not going to last forever. These conventions,
You shut your
they're going
mouth.
to diminish over time. So take that moment, say hi to your neighbor, and just really acknowledge how special this family is while we can do it. So it's pretty important. Yeah. It's a very special community, and we're all very grateful for it. I know you all.
I don't know if I had a specific moment in that particular job. The food was great. Really was
Best food of any show I've ever been on.
Awesome.
It's so good.
When you go onto a show that's been going for like 12 years, and and it's successful for many different reasons, as we've all talked about. But the food has to up its game with the show. So by the time I was on the show, the food was awesome. I don't know. I can't. I don't think I can. I was asking you, and I was racking my brain when you were answering the question if I have anything specific. But I suppose the friends I made from it is probably the best thing I'll take from. That's my favorite part of playing the role, and it's not really answering your question because the fight. I had less fight scenes than Dave, obviously, and I don't know. The only thing that I can really think of right now that will resonate with me forever is the friends I've made. All of you guys, everything. Yeah, it's awesome.
It's great. Special. Hello.
Thank you.
Hi, handsomes. How are you doing this morning?
Hi.
Talking to you.
No,
What's
I'm
up?
talking to all three of you.
What's up?
I'm to all three.
What's up? What's going on? What's your name, girl? What you doing? Where you from?
I'm actually from
No
here.
touching.
Oh, you local?
I got front row seats for this.
Do you?
My question is for all three of you. And my question is, the chemistry between the actors on and off screen is glorious to behold. You all mesh so well together. How do you qualify or quantify chemistry, and why do you think you all work so well together, especially off screen, like in a setting like this?
Wow.
That's a great question. I would semi-amend your premise is that we all have chemistry in life, and it's almost you can't almost quantify or quantify. Did I say quantify and quantify?
Yeah.
You cannot 2 times quantify chemistry. Sometimes it's just this magical thing. But I will tell you just a little small story I had with Jared 2 years ago. And we were at craft service, and it was one of those Fratter days. It was like 2 a.m. and we were getting a snack, and everyone was tired, but everyone was upbeat. And that family, you've heard how great that set is, the crew and everybody. And I was like, what is it with this show? Like, how is everyone to a person so cool and so interesting and whatever? He's like, dude, I don't know. I was like, casting and the producers just know how to pick the people in the secret sauce, because it's like, I've met some of the coolest, most eclectic, interesting people, all extremely different in this cast. And each of them just like completely fascinating, their own person, and kind and loving like this culture. So, I mean...
Maybe it's something like, as we've said before, and what you did, the secret sauce, it takes so many different elements to come together correctly to make a show as successful as Supernatural, right? It takes the writing, the casting is huge, and what you're talking about has a lot to do with the casting of the show. Like, they're the first people that bring you in, and then the Bob Singer and the people who sign off on the actors at the end of the day. And it takes all these different elements to come together to make a show that successful. But then I think the knock-on effect and the reason that we're all here today, and it's something that's inexplicable. It's something that is just so magical and so rare. I was talking to Matthew last night, and he was like, he's done a lot of conventions, and I think this is his first Supernatural convention, and he was like, feels quite strange because I was never in the show, but he was like, it's so different than anything I've ever done. It's so magical. It's such a unique combination of people, and I mean all of you guys and us. And it's hard to quantify, and it's a really interesting question. And I don't think I challenge anyone to be able to answer it, because I don't think it is. I don't think it's possible, and I don't think it'll happen again. I don't think this is. I don't think. I tell someone to tell me of maybe you guys go to other conventions that is the same as this. I'd love to see it.
I think, I mean, these guys said it all. I think Creation actually probably deserves some credit too for getting this group together. And I mean,
absolutely.
I did 2 episodes. I feel so lucky that I'm still here doing these things. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of actors that have been on Supernatural.
But that's what's kind of cool about this tour. You bring you clearly show the audience your extra set of skill sets. I mean, your singing, your kindness, your persona, and that's what's sort of fun. This whole ancillary product of the show and this culture that, by the way, all of you have created. We didn't do it. We're just interlopers coming to come play with you. But you know what I mean? Like, that feedback loop is pretty special too. To have this like secondary family, I call it the family reunion, the cousins, right?
Sure.
Hanging out together.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. It's special. Awesome question. Really, really.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much.
Very good.
Thank you.
Hey.
Hi guys. Hi David.
Hi.
Hi Adam. Hi Gil.
Hi.
So my question is, what is the most interesting thing you've had to learn to do for a role?
I really try to commit to my accent for Catch. That was a big challenge that I wanted to take on, and the physicality. And I kind of committed to it hard, in a weird way, some people think, but it worked for me, and I'm mostly proud of some of it.
Yeah. When you say you...
I mean, I hate everything.
You should have been proud of it.
No, but it's, come on.
When you say you committed hard in a weird way, what do you mean?
Well, season 12, I would start my vocal warm-up in my car going to set, and I would just stay in accent for the whole of season 12.
Yeah.
I stayed in my posh received pronunciation. So, talking with people in the trailer, I was like this all the time. I never broke.
I was like to the guys, like, he's a bit of a dick, isn't he?
What about when you went home?
No, of course not. I wouldn't do it out in the world.
Yeah,
although
well, no,
actually, I took it out in the world a few times, just as like to pass. Like I would go shopping.
I think that's great.
Not as Catch, but in accent.
Yeah.
I got a good story. Do you know my friend Robbie Sheehan? Do anyone know that actor Robbie Sheehan? Irish actor? He did a film called The Road Within with Dev Patel and Zoe Kravitz, and it's about these three people with various disabilities. I don't know if that's the correct word, but Robbie has Tourette's in it. And he was practicing his Tourette's, and they drove to Palm Springs so he could do it in a shopping mall. And he was doing it in like a Ralph's or something in Palm Springs. And he was doing his take, and this guy goes, "Are you Robbie Sheehan?" And he was like, stunned. He was like, "No," and ran away. But it's interesting, hard. I would agree with you. My hardest thing was I did this show that I'm going back to do this year in Norway, where I played a Texan, and it's hard. It's a huge jump, yeah, and that's kind of like, I think that's the hardest thing, to be convincing, because we all watch stuff when, and I think I said this yesterday, you watch stuff when you're like, oh my god, that accent's awful.
And here's the thing with an accent, you never notice it if it's good, like it's seamless, but you notice it when it misses.
Big time.
That's the thing, so that's terrifying for an actor. And the thing with me too is like knowing that I had this, half British family, and then knowing who the guy I was mostly basing it on, like you don't want to shank.
Yeah.
You know? So like, I've heard other actors who, what was the Texas movie about the sniper, American Sniper?
Yeah.
He stayed in his Texas.
American Sniper.
American Sniper, yeah.
Yeah.
Bradley
Cooper.
What's his name?
Bradley Cooper stayed in accent when he woke up. He would have the dialogue. He was talking about he'd have the dialogue tape for 10 minutes of the audiobook.
Sure.
And he would just start with that, and he would just be like, "Sorry guys, I'm going to speak like a Texan."
I think when it comes to accents, for me, that's what I would have to do as well. I would have to stay in it, So I think that's a credit to you. I don't think that's weird at all. I think that's fucking awesome. I mean, it's like accents for me is one of those things I've never been super confident with, and so I've been working in that regard as well. But look forward to that chance to actually get to do something where I can use it, right? As actors, it's one of the cool things is when you get to do like fun, different little things, and every role brings new challenges, right?
And the stuff that terrifies you is the stuff that if you lean in is going to have the highest rewards.
100%.
Just like life, right?
Yeah.
Take those risks and make sure you double down on your hard work and see what happens.
Yeah, I got to play Elvis once when I was younger.
Cool.
Yeah, that was a blast.
You'd be a great Elvis.
Yeah,
that was
I could
one
totally
of the
see
first
that.
things.
Like in his later years.
Yeah, older Elvis. Well, now maybe. Back then, I think I was 23, 24, something like that. I got to play young Elvis, and
that's cool.
I shot a little movie in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it was called Elvis Has Left the Building.
Nice.
And it was not a huge success. The director was a guy named Joel Zwick, and he did a movie called Big Fat Greek Wedding. And this was his follow-up to Big Fat Greek Wedding, and so everyone thought this thing, and then it went straight to video. But anyway, it still was a blast, and I could say I got to play Elvis at one point. So, I mean, Elvis Presley, they're doing another Elvis biopic, aren't they? It's like there's endless Elvis biopics.
Well, there's endless biopics at the moment.
That's true. Yeah. Anyway.
Have you seen Bohemian Rhapsody and Rocket Man? Okay, let me take a vote. Bohemian Rhapsody. Rocket Man.
I'm a Rocket Man guy.
Like, yeah, I don't know.
I hadn't seen Rocket Man yet. I thought Bohemian Rhapsody was excellent. But yeah, I hear great things.
Who's playing Elvis?
You know, it's I heard, I don't even know his name. I know he was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Brad Pitt?
Who? Now, does anybody know who's playing Elvis?
Imagine Leo playing Elvis, that'd be funny.
Did you guys see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Oh my God.
The young guy that was like riding the horse out at the ranch, that guy. Huh? Yeah, that guy.
That guy.
I think he's playing Elvis.
Oh wow.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
That's cool.
So, I'm sure he'll do great. Jonathan Rhys-Meyers was a great Elvis.
Yeah, you won a Golden Globe.
He was fantastic. But my only, and it's not, he can't do anything about this, but my only thing that kind of bugged me about that is he's not a very tall guy. And Elvis was like 6'1", you know?
Well, Johnny's not small. Johnny's your height, at least.
Rhys-Meyers?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Well,
I just remember shots of him like leaning against a Cadillac where it was like, he looked smaller in stature.
well, you know, he's had...
He's taller than you? I don't think so.
I think so. I did a show with him. I did the remake of Roots with him.
Really?
I've known Johnny for a long, long time. Yeah, he's
He's a
Irish.
fantastic actor, and some of the shots, like his face, I mean, the way his hair and makeup and stuff, he looked
He was
great.
cool.
Anyway.
I hear the band burbling back there.
Oh, yeah, we've been talking.
We have been talking about it.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
First of all, thank you, Gil, for singing Wagon Wheel with me.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Jason Mans actually DM'd me saying that he's sorry that you missed it, but he hopes that you I got Gil to sing your part for the song. Anyways, my question is, what is for all three of you your favorite lines or anything that you did on the show?
Favorite lines?
Mm-hmm.
Mine, like, it's totally narcissistic. Mine is the one I made up. Have you got any content?
They got you what?
That's a good one. That's good improv.
At the end of that scene in Ladies Drink Free, when there was only tomato juice in the fridge, and I said to Jensen that I should say, can I say that at the end of the scene? He goes, yeah, you should say that. And I said it, so sorry to all the writers of Supernatural for writing such great stuff, and I'm just going to choose my own.
Yeah, but that's why they hire a good collaborator and they get those happy accents of improv. I mean, that's the jazz too, right? Yeah. You have the chart and then you improv a little bit, and the saucy juice is what they put on screen. What?
Yeah, saucy juice on the screen.
I'm thinking of the mirror I'm married in.
I'm not getting any of these today. I'm slow.
I have so many. They wrote so many good ones for Catch, but I think that first night out in the woods with Jared and Jensen, where I opened the trunk and I reveal the hyperbolic pulse generator and the egg, you know? And when I just sort of look at them and go, the toys are the fun part. I think that pretty much sums up 90% of Catch in that one line right there.
Because
like,
you so meant that at the time, as David Hayden Jones too, because like you had a $500,000 car or something like that.
Oh my goodness, a little boy that just got to go to like the Disneyland all by himself, like grenade launcher and a $500,000 Bentley and like $5,000 suits. You're like, I'd like to play, please. I love it here. Don't ever let me go.
That was like my first scene. I was in this Armani suit that they got for me, and then I was going by the car, and Brona, who's an Irish girl who was playing, I can't remember the name of the character. Do you remember that?
The British Man Others?
Yeah, what was her name? And anyway, so I'm going by, checking to see if she's dead in the car. It's my very first scene shooting, and I was like, oh fuck, and they were like, what are you doing? I said, I'm just afraid I'm gonna rip the suit. And they're like, we don't give a fuck about the suits, just act.
Yeah, you're like,
Feeling so responsible.
Favorite moments, probably just riding in the Impala with the boys. You know, like just shooting the shit with Jared and Jensen in that beautiful car, you know. And the line, as long as we're alive, there's always hope.
Yep.
I almost did that like McKinney. As long as we're alive, there's always hope. All right. Hey, man, what y'all fixing to do? Huh? Hey, real quick, before I forget, shameless plug. I'm going to be on The Rookie a week from tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys watch The Rookie. Not a huge part, but a fun character, and I'd love for you guys to check it out.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
And it broke the drought, so awesome. Even more kudos, man. We
Yeah,
all
thanks,
go through
man.
them. We all
Thanks.
go through them. It's a real thing for actors, you know?
Yep. There they are.
Here they are.
There they are.
Do we do one more?
Yeah, let's do
Oh my God.
Come on,
Shoot.
real quick one.
Which side? This side. Okay, go ahead.
Hi,
I'm Ivana. My question is, I like the State Farm commercial, so what type of situation would you guys be in if your characters were all in a situation where they called you for help as if they were calling for State Farm?
That's a good question.
As a Canadian, and growing up in the Great White North, I always have jumper cables on me. Like, even though you don't really need them in California. So I would come with jumper cables wrapped around my neck and it pinching various parts of my body.
That went to a weird place.
I had to go there, didn't I? I had to. AO3.
What's the question again? What's your question?
Like, where would you fit into
that was jumper cables on
Where would you fit into the
State Farm.
State Farm
If I was Gabe Gabriel, or no?
Or if Gabe, you were like Aaron Rodgers had you as his buddy.
What would
be your
I'd
issue?
probably be his fucking accountant or something.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call him. I'd call Flo from Progressive.